Hi, this is Gary. Welcome back to day 22 of the Diamine Inkvent calendar. Let's find that door and see what's behind it. 22. Oh, it's right up here, right at the top. I don't have many more to find now, do I? It's getting easier and easier to find them. Let's see what we've got in here. This is Black Ivy. Black, so is it a black ink maybe? But then ivy, that's a gorgeous green. I like some of the nice ivies. I remember many years ago when we were still living in England, we had an ivy that it ran up the garage wall. Looked really nice in the summer. Let's get rid of the wrapper. Okay, here we go, black ivy. So looking at the label, it's a really dark green colour. And on the side, this is a sheen in ink. So I wonder, is it perhaps a black with a green sheen? Well, there's only one way to find out. Just going to give the bottle a bit of a shake. Let's take the lid off. There we go. So now I'm going to fetch in my swatch card. Pilot Parallels, 6mm nib. Let's dip that in. And let's see what we come up with. So it goes on. It's a very dark green colour. Tending towards a black really. I suppose that's where the name comes from, Black Ivy. There we go. One final dip for this main part. Make sure we get nice and plentiful in the middle. And then on the side, doesn't want to happen, a single pass. Oh, that doesn't look too good, does it? I'm just going to dip the pen again. And I'm going to do a single pass at the bottom here. So we've got two different ones. One where there's a lot of ink, one where there's not so much ink. I'll just clean this off. Next thing, Serendipity Dip Pen. This has got that broad Yoho nib on it. So I'll give it a nice drink. So we've got here Diamine Inkvent 2021. Day 22, the big day even. Well, that's nearly here now, isn't it? And what's this called? Black Ivy. I like the way this is drying. Be interesting to see though once it's had a chance to dry completely. Let me pop this off to one side. So next we fetch in the Endless Recorder notepad. This has got the 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. And here we go. So today is day 22. Black Ivy. Drying times. So we got immediate. Looks fairly wet. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. Finally, 1 minute. After a minute, well, that's still fairly wet, isn't it? And to my eyes, after a minute, it actually looks a lot more bluer. Let's do our writing sample. Comes off the nib quite nicely. Looks still fairly dark green to me. I can certainly see where the name Black Ivy comes from. It'd be interesting to see though, once it's had a chance to dry, what the sheen is like. I'm just going to pop this to one side to dry. It's time to fetch in the Mandalorian The Child advent calendar. Let's find today's chocolate for my wife. Where are we? Searching. Day 22. There we go. Day 22. Let's just get into that. Here we've got a picture of the Mandalorian next to the child's crib. Here's our chocolate. Oh, it's well hidden. And this looks like a wreath with just a chocolate background. Move this out of the way. Time to fetch in the gift bag from my wife. She's been making these advent gifts for me all through the month. She leaves them on a little table just out to the side as she goes out because she doesn't like sitting in here when I'm recording. I mean, it doesn't bother me. So let's see what we've got in there. Wow. I don't have to reach deep this time. So let's slowly take this out. What have we got? This is a Oxford notebook. So that means it's that lovely optic paper that I like. And this one's A4 size. My current Oxford pads, they're B5. There we go. So definitely quite a bit of a difference between B5 and A4, isn't there? The other optic paper pad I use, that's A5. So we've got A5, B5, and now I've got an A4 in this glorious optic paper. I love it when she gets me things like this, which I'll really enjoy using. Just get them out of the way. Let's fetch back in that swatch card and the notepad. Here we go. So we'll start by looking at the swatch card. So it is a green. The background colour is green, and as you can see here where there was not a lot of ink left on it, we've definitely got that green colour. But the sheen, I'm going to say it's black. It could be a very dark red, but it's enough that on top of the green it looks black. Just see if I can catch the light a bit better with that. Let me fetch in the chromatography strip. So here's the chromatography. It's still wet. Got a lot of blue in this. So we start off with a grey type blue. We come into the green. So this must be where the green of this background colour is. We go then to a darker blue with pale blue fringes. And at the top I can see a definite line of black. So quite a complex chromatography there. I've got some potential comparisons. The first one is getting towards that back colour but not quite right. That's Lamy Peridot. So the Peridot, I would say that's a lot greener and definitely, as you can see, a lot lighter. Next one, I've got Diamine Beethoven. Again, not quite the same shade of green, but getting towards it. And I would say I'm not sure if there's any sheen on that. I mean, certainly the central part looks a lot darker, but that purely could be the amount of ink that was put on. And finally, Cult Pen's Deep Dark Green. This is actually made by Diamine. And to me, the background colour, that's starting to look very similar. But the Cult Pen's ink, that's got no sheen at all. Quick look at the writing. Let's pop that to one side. There we go. Let's just see if I can move that and catch any of that sheen. Not really to my eye. It may come over better on the camera there. Looks very dark, doesn't it? It's very wet ink as well, so certainly not an ink I'll be using if I'm going to be doing lots of note taking. But this is Diamine Inkvent 2021 Day 22 Black Ivy.